Rama चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे।
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much everyone for coming. Krishna. Oh, it's okay. No sugar. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much everyone for coming, taking out time on Saturday evening, an evening which is meant for partying. You're all here, you're doing a different kind of party. Thank you very much. So, before we begin, a surprise. I wasn't expecting Arya Radhika to be here. Arya Radhika is here. She recently got married. Yay! So she had just started coming, and then we were so lucky for her that in 2 weeks she got married. So, but now she's gone far away. She's gone to Saket, so don't know if we'll see much of her now. Oh, she was at her. Okay. Oh, okay. Super. Thank you so much for coming, Aradhika. So nice to see you. Please congratulate her nicely after the class and make her eat much more. Okay. We also have Chehek. Chehek's making a return. That means we were good to her in the first session. That's what she said. So Chehek celebrated her birthday last Saturday. We couldn't have the class last Saturday, so we'll celebrate her birthday today. We'll embarrass her nicely. Okay. Okay. All okay? Am I looking good? Hi. It's okay now. So, kar lenge man. Oh, this one's there. It's a little. Oh, oy. Yeah, now it'll be fine. Okay. So, where are we? Last Monday, who all couldn't come? Who couldn't make it? Vasundhara Mataji and Tulsi. Only two people. And Arya Radhika. Arya Radhika spoke. She's there? Oh, I missed her. Oh, yeah, I met her. Yeah, I met her. So thank you very much for coming last Monday. Thank you for your services, your kind services to now known as Nitai Pran Gaur Priya. It was just coincidental. I wasn't expecting a name would be given. That's nice. So thank you for serving nicely. Some of you were serving before the actual day. Some of you were serving after the day. Kunal Prabhu serving till today. He's going to drop the altar. So thank you for giving your time. Some of you were in the kitchen making something for the Abhishek. Some of you were there running around doing random stuff. Some of you were listening to me shouting in my panic mode. So this is exactly what we studied actually in the last session. This is working for Krishna. So simple, so practical. It's no sentiment, or of course there's a sentiment behind the action. But sometimes when we say working for Krishna, it may sound very obscure, working for Krishna. But it's this only. It's just practical work for Krishna. He's going in his car, picking up some furniture for an event which is happening for Krishna. That's working for Krishna. Somebody is in the kitchen mixing 5 elements which will then be poured on Krishna. That is working for Krishna. Right? Somebody is moving a table for Krishna. Somebody is wrapping up the entire event. Sahil Prabhu and Shivam Prabhu, the first ones to come, last ones to go. So what were they doing actually? They were just doing labor, manual labor. But that's working for Krishna, right? So this is it. It's practical. What you're reading in the Bhagavad Gita, that event, that annual event, and then Janmashtami event, and then hopefully, then Yatras, then hopefully more events as you all mature in your bhakti are all opportunities to work for Krishna. This is it. Practical service for Krishna. This is bhakti. Right? Okay. So yeah, where were we last time? 5th chapter? Last shloka. So today we'll start the 6th chapter. And what did we cover in the last session? Let's raise our hands. Anybody who remembers? Okay, we'll start with Arvind Charan Prabhu. Anything you remember, Prabhu?
Krishna is the enjoyer.
Okay, Krishna is the enjoyer. Okay. Yes, Krishna is the enjoyer, the proprietor, and the well-wisher of everyone, the friend of everyone. If you remember this, then you will always be at peace. Right? This was the essence of the last session. That's it. That's the revision. Clear? Remember the shloka? Okay, you want to recite it together once more? Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram surghadam sarvabhutanam yatvamam shanti rachati. Okay, any doubts, questions, till here, till chapter 5 from last session, in life, generally, life crisis, overthinking crisis, anything? Okay, so should we start today then? Okay, so Arjun is in the battlefield. Krishna is telling him about peace. Arjun is going to kill a few folks. Krishna is talking about peace. What an irony. And then Krishna is telling him that a person who always realizes that I am the enjoyer, I am the proprietor, and I am the well-wisher, such a person is at peace. There's one more Gita. You can use this. We don't charge. Earlier we used to. When people started leaving, we stopped charging for them. So now the acharyas tell us that at this point in time, Arjun is okay. Wait, before that, does anybody remember how 5th chapter begins? Very difficult to remember. But you want to go back and see how 5th chapter started. Yeah.
Fifth chapter started when Arjun asked if I should renounce the
World.
material world. Yeah,
I should fight. Yes, let's clap for Arvind Charan Prabhu. He doesn't even have a Gita. No cheating. He remembers. Very nice. Okay. So this Prabhuji, he looks very simple, but he's very internally he knows everything. So in 3rd chapter, what was 3rd chapter? Karma Yoga. In 3rd chapter, Krishna encourages Arjun to fight. In 4th chapter, Krishna talks about knowledge. Arjun gets confused. Should I get Gyan? Should I read the scripture? Should I get more knowledge? Or should I be fighting? Should I go into seclusion to understand more about this transcendental knowledge? Or should I fight? He's confused. So that's how chapter 5 begins. He's like, wait, Krishna, you've confused the hell out of me. What do I do? And what does Krishna tell him in 5th chapter? Out of the two, what should he do? What is better? Fight. Fight, right? He says Karma Yoga is better. But at the end, when Krishna again says, know me as the proprietor, know me as the enjoyer, then Arjun is again confused. Now he's thinking, Krishna is my well-wisher. Krishna is the proprietor of everything that exists. This is what I should meditate on. This is what the acharyas tell, that Arjun is starting to think like that. Krishna as well-wisher is present inside me as Paramatma. So I need to focus, I need to meditate. I need to meditate on how everything belongs to Krishna. And Krishna knows this, of course. Before Arjun says, Krishna picks this up. And immediately Krishna starts to talk about Dhyana Yoga and meditation. And that's how chapter 6 begins. Just a flickering thought, a quick thought in Arjun's head that, okay, wait, I'm not supposed to fight then. I'm supposed to meditate on how Krishna is the enjoyer, how Krishna is the proprietor. It's just a passing thought, and Krishna picks that up. And that's how Krishna begins this chapter of Dhyana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. It's all about meditation in this chapter, right? But this chapter is very funny. It's an anticlimactic chapter. You understand anticlimax? In this entire chapter, apart from the first few shlokas, Krishna will glorify meditation. He will talk about the techniques of meditation. And at the end, he will say, but the topmost meditator is my devotee. So, he'll glorify, and last shloka, he will say, all this is okay, but the topmost meditator, the best meditator is my devotee. So, it's a very anticlimactic chapter. So, this is the context, and with that, we will start today's shloka. Very interesting. We will do text 1, text 2, and then maybe we will read the purport of text 1. Okay, and then text 2 is homework. You all read it at home. We will repeat shloka 1, then we'll read the translation of shloka 1, purport of shloka 1, and then we'll just do shloka 2. And then we will discuss for around 25 minutes. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha anashrita karma phalam karyam karam karma karotiya sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragne na chakriya. Shri Bhagavan uvacha anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karotiya sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragni na chakriya. Arvind Charan Prabhu, you'll repeat? No, you're not here? Anybody wants to try? Tulsi? Shri Bhagavan uvacha anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karotiya sa sannyasi cha yogi cha agnir na chak nir agnir nan naniragnir na chakriya. Drishti, you want to try reading the shloka? Yeah. It's okay. No negative marking. Tanvi, you want to try? Shri Bhagavan uvacha anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karotiya sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragne na chakriya. Translation.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he is obligated is in the renounced order of life, and he is a true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no duty.
Okay. So in the shloka, there is a word, sannyasi. You all heard this word, sannyasi? So Krishna is telling who a sannyasi is. One who is unattached to the fruits of his work. Fruits means results. One who is unattached to the results of his work. And who works as he is obligated. So a person who is doing his duties well without being attached to the results of his work, such a person is a sannyasi. Right? But हम तो ऐसा नहीं, हमें तो लगता है सन्यासी will have a, what will they have in their hand? They'll have a danda. You saw two sannyasis on Monday. There were two people with a danda in their hand. And they wear clothes differently. They wear something over here. It's different from what brahmacharis wear, if you've not observed. It's a different uniform. Their dhoti is also tied differently. Observe carefully next time. Not too carefully. Don't embarrass them. But you'll see it's like it's wrapped around. Right? It's wrapped around. The simplest way to wear a dhoti. And then the cloth that they have here, that also, they keep changing the position according to the service they're doing. Observe this. Very interesting. Very mystic. I don't know what it means, but they do something. They'll tie it like this, or they'll tie it like this. But Krishna is saying, not only that is sannyas. If you're doing your prescribed duty without being attached to the results of your work, that is also sannyas. So then you can be living a so-called apparent normal life, but you may be a sannyasi at heart. Right? The recent sannyasi in the ISKCON Punjabi Bagh finally, Rukmini Krishna Maharaj, during his speech, his first speech in Vrindavan, he said, now I've got these sannyasi clothes, but I wish to now bless me so that I can become a sannyasi at heart. Which is, what is the sannyasi at heart? Bhagavad Gita 6.1. Right? So this is what? Krishna is explaining. Now, is this easy? To not be attached to the results of your work? To go to office every day? Not be thinking about promotion? Not being excited for your salary? Well, okay, fine. Excited for your salary, but salary comes going crazy. In my office, my office gives salary on 21st. So 21st को सब जाते थे बाहर डिनर करने हर महीने सैलरी तो आनी तो है नहीं सो इज इट इजी हरे कृष्णा वेलकम Anuruddha Prabhu can sit there. There's a chair there. So it's not easy to be detached to the results of all. मैंने इतनी मेहनत करी है मैं ही enjoy ना करूं. Being unattached to the fruits of your work also means, Prabhupada will explain in the purport, no taste, no hankering for sense gratification. You understand sense gratification? Touching good, having good, eating good, so-called enjoyment. We've studied for enjoyment all our life. Now here Krishna is saying, stop enjoying. Prabhupada will say in the purport, stop enjoying. What? How will I live then? I live for enjoyment. Right? YOLO. You only live once. Right? So, ये तो बिल्कुल ही कुछ अजीब सी बात हो रही है. So we'll understand what it is, what does it mean, how to live in the way that Krishna is asking us to live, how to be a sannyasi. We all can be sannyasis. How to be sannyasis, we'll understand. Prabhupada will explain in this purport what's the easiest way to be a sannyasi. And then we will just talk about that. So, Karu, would you want to read the purport?
In this chapter, the Lord explains that the process of the eightfold yoga system is a means to control the mind and the senses. However,
This is a very difficult for people in general to perform, especially in the age of Kali. Although the Eightfold Yoga system recommended in this chapter, the Lord emphasizes that the process of Karma Yoga or acting in Krishna consciousness is better. Everyone acts in this world to maintain his family and their paraphernalia. But no one is working without some self-interest, some personal gratification, be it concentrated or extended. I just want to pause here. Self-interest, be it concentrated or extended. What does this mean?
Concentrated is for ourselves, extended is for the family.
Yeah, extended can mean my family, my nation, my dog. This is all extended self-interest, right? Okay. Yeah. Action. So acting Krishna consciousness, not with the view to enjoying the good work. To act in Krishna consciousness, duty of every living entity, because all are constitutionally parts and parcels of the Supreme. The parts of the body work for the satisfaction of the whole body. The limbs of the body do not act for self-satisfaction, satisfaction of the complete whole. Similarly, the living entity who acts for satisfaction of the Supreme Whole,
supreme whole and not
for
for
personal satisfaction, is the perfect sannyasi, the perfect yogi. The sannyasis sometimes artificially think that they have become liberated from all material duties. Therefore, they cease to perform the yagas or sacrifices. Actually, they are self-interested because their goal is to become one with the impersonal Brahman. Such a desire is greater than any material desire, but it is not without self-interest. Similarly, mystic yogi who practices the yoga system with half-open eyes, ceasing all material activities, desires some satisfaction
But a person acting in
in
Krishna
Krishna
consciousness
consciousness,
works for the satisfaction of the whole without
self-interest.
self-interest. The
A
Krishna
Krishna
conscious
conscious
person
person
has no desire for
self-satisfaction.
self-satisfaction. His criteria
Material
of
of
success
success
is
is
the
the
satisfaction
satisfaction
of
of
Krishna,
Krishna,
and thus he is the highest perfect sannyasi or perfect yogi. Lord Chaitanya, the highest perfection symbol of renunciation, prays in this way.
Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadish kamaye, mama janmani janmani ishvare, bhavatat bhaktir ahetuki tvai.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor to enjoy beautiful life, nor do I want any number of followers. What I want only is the costless mercy of your devotional service in my life, birth after birth.
Okay. You have a special sannyasi in the room. You'll sit here, you'll sit there. Okay. Sit here. He's the boss. It's okay. It's okay. No problem. It's okay. So,
That will lighten the mood.
after the heavy purport. So, first, why is suddenly Krishna talking about sannyasi, yogi? You will see in the shlokas ahead that Krishna talks about how one must perform Ashtanga Yoga. To perform Ashtanga Yoga, you need to go to a secluded place. He'll say you go to a forest, far from the city, far from any chaos, so that there are no distractions, there are no temptations. But if a yogi is already very attached to sense gratification, then he will not be able to perform Ashtanga Yoga. So, a prerequisite of meditation is cessation of any desire for sense gratification. You get it? अगर आपको योगी बनना है, आपको मेडिटेट करना है, तो आपको उससे पहले अपने जितने भी डिजायर्स है उनसे फ्री होना पड़ेगा, वरना आप मेडिटेट करने बैठोगे एंड यू आर थिंकिंग अबाउट वड़ा पाव, यू आर थिंकिंग अबाउट विनीत और विनीता, whoever you like, depending on your gender, right? So you will be meditating on all these things. You won't be meditating on the Lord. So Krishna is saying, first you have to be unattached. It's a prerequisite. How is he saying that? We'll read in shloka number 2. Being a sannyasi is a prerequisite. A sannyasi is a yogi. A yogi is a sannyasi. You cannot be a yogi, someone who is meditating, without being a sannyasi. It's impossible. Okay, this is what the Lord is saying, and we'll understand this in text too. Yam sannyasam iti prahur yogam tam vidhi pandava nahi asanyasta sankalpo yogi bhavati kaschana. Who will read the translation? Okay, Divya.
What is called renunciation, you should know to be the same as you are, linking oneself with Krishna. O son of one, for one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification.
What is called renunciation or sannyas, you should know to be the same as yoga. Sannyas and yoga are same. O son of Pandu, one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification. Simple? Is it simple to understand theoretically? This doesn't happen practically. Yoga centers, they don't tell you to be sannyasi. Actually, the Ashtanga Yoga is made up of 8 steps. Many times we've discussed this. The first 2 steps are Yam Niyam. Ashta Anga. Ashta means 8. Anga means limbs. 8 limbs. 8-limbed yoga. So, what we see in the parks in morning or yoga centers in India and now more popular in the US and Europe, over there, they're not doing all the 8 steps. And these 8 steps are sequential. Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Dhyan, Dharan, Samadhi. These are 8 steps. Okay? You start with Yam, Niyam, then you have to move to Pranayam and Asan. You've heard Pranayam, Asan, these are common words. Asana, sitting postures. and pranayam is breathing. But before asana and pranayam, you have to do yam and niyam. Yam means do's, niyam means don'ts. Krishna will tell what are these do's and don'ts. But nobody talks about these do's and don'ts. If they start talking about it, nobody will come to the yoga centers. Because these yam and niyam includes being satisfied, being content, having compassion. In US, if you will tell them you have to be compassionate, which means not eating meat, how will the yoga centers run? So, we are actually not practicing Ashtanga Yoga today. We are just practicing some tidbit of the entire process. That too only for physical and mental well-being. It has got nothing with transcendental practice. Right? So never get fooled by this. Some people will say, and this is very common, there are some very big, I don't want to take names, but you will know. If you will know, because it's going live and I'm very contentious. So I will not name it. But you know, there are groups that claim to be spiritual, but all they teach is asana and pranayam. But there is nothing spiritual about it. It may be spiritual, it may be yoga, if all the 8 steps are taught. But if the first 2 steps are skipped, then asana and pranayam can never be learnt in totality. So this is the number one false propaganda running in the name of spirituality. Not only in this country, but all over the world. And not now, for the last many years. Right? So when you will read this chapter, if somebody just picks up Bhagavad Gita, which is the ABC of Vedic science, you will see that you're doing nothing of that Ashtanga Yoga in all those yoga centers. Right?
So the yoga that is being practiced today,
It's only for physical and mental well-being. It's like going to the gym. Gymnastics. Prabhupada calls it gymnastics. That's it.
and in terms of spirituality, it's an exercise in futility.
Absolutely. It is going to lead to no connection with your real identity or your connection with the Lord. So, if somebody, a man of integrity and honesty, is saying that this yoga practice is only for your physical mental being, very good. But verse is when people try to pull this off as your connection with the divine, and this is happening. And 2 of the most popular branches of so-called spirituality in India are doing exactly this. You think of it, you will know it. Right? But it's really sad. It's a really sad condition. And thus, they will not last for long, because it cannot give lasting contentment and satisfaction to the heart, because it is not feeding the soul, it is just feeding the body. Want to say something? So now, what Prabhupada is explaining in the purport is that if you have to be a sannyasi, and if you have to be detached to the results, and you have to be detached to material enjoyment, there is only one way. That is through Krishna consciousness, through bhakti. Why? How can somebody give up the taste of good food, opposite sex, travel? What else do we like? How can somebody give up all these tastes? How can you give this up? Huh? Only if you get a better taste. Only if there is something which gives you more enjoyment than traveling. As soon as I said, how can you give up good food, he left. Only if there is something better, something which is giving you more enjoyment. Only then you will be able to sustainably disregard all this enjoyment. Without effort, naturally, you will disregard it. You will feel uncomfortable. All of you know Samar? Samar, he comes here quite often. Yesterday, I'm sure he's not going to watch YouTube, so I'm going to risk it. Yesterday, I met him. So I keep meeting him sometime or the other just to help him with his startup. So he was telling me he was consistently chanting 4 rounds. And he said, I've kind of stopped chanting and I feel miserable about it. And he said that the problem is I've started doom scrolling early in the morning and I feel awful about it. He's not getting a taste from scrolling and he's missing the taste of chanting. Right? And of course, Samarth or me or you, we are not chanting in the most perfect state. Still, he's feeling like that. He's feeling something is missing, right? And he's a beginner like all of us. Right? So this is an example coming from all of you only. So as you take up more and more work for Krishna, you feel more and more enjoyment. You feel more and more contentment. You feel more and more satisfaction. And you start feeling more and more, sorry for the word, disgust in material enjoyment. It's a natural process. You don't need to do it artificially. So sometimes when we read these shlokas, we may feel bad. I can't do this. Or you may see others. Like amongst all of you, I've heard this. How can she leave onion and garlic? I'm not able to leave onion. How will I go out with my friends? And what about the family weddings? What will I eat over there? And how will I face my relatives? This is so embarrassing. I don't know how she left, he left. So you don't need to leave it artificially. You need to serve more. When you will serve more, you will automatically develop the desire to have only prasad. It's an organic process. Of course, a little bit of a push artificial is always good. So if you push a little bit, you keep trying a little bit, you'll fall down, you may not be able to do it. Again, you get up. But the real thing will happen only when you work more and more and more for Krishna. Then renunciation will happen. So, look at this, sannyasi. Sannyasi, when the world hears the word sannyasi, what do they think of? They think ये व्यक्ति अपना फैमिली, अपना घर छोड़ के, सब जायदाद छोड़ के चला गया. जैसे जैन्स में जब संन्यास होते हैं तो ऐसे न्यूज आती थी गुजरात में, एक वो निकलता है जलूस, पैसे फेंकता है जो संन्यास ले रहा होती है. यू नॉट सीन दिस? गुजरात में होता है. यू हर्ड ऑफ दिस? वो पैसे फेंकते हैं, they throw away all their money, then they take sannyas. Now bhakt sannyasi, when somebody in ISKCON takes sannyas, then their responsibilities increase multifold. They take up much more responsibilities. So instead of leaving work, they take up more work. So Krishna is clarifying exactly this. He's saying sannyas doesn't mean you leave work. And he's explaining this with a metaphor. He's saying sannyasi is not he who lights no fire or performs no duty. Sannyas doesn't mean, he's telling Arjuna, it doesn't mean that you leave your work. On the contrary, a bhakt sannyasi is taking more and more work. But the nature of work is very different. The nature of work is you work for Krishna, you do everything for Krishna. So, we studied for 5 chapters which spoke a lot about Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is also this, that you work for Krishna. You work for Krishna. But Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga have a little bit of difference. There's a nuance which is different. Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga are slightly different. In both the cases, the devotee is working for Krishna. In both the cases, the devotee is unattached to the results and is offering the result to Krishna. But in Bhakti Yoga, the devotee does what Krishna wants. In Karma Yoga, the devotee continues to do what he or she wants. Like for example, I am doing my business. I make money from that business. I go and give a part of that money to Krishna. This is Karma Yoga. मैंने business किया, पैसा कमाया, थोड़ा सा पैसा मैंने कृष्ण को ऑफर किया, कर्म योगा। अब भक्ति योगी वो बिजनेस नहीं करेगा, he will do what Krishna wants him to do. So when you were all serving for the event, for the Abhishek, you were doing what Krishna wanted you to do. You were not saying मेरा तो टेक्सटाइल का बिजनेस है, मैं तो भगवान के लिए कपड़े ही लाऊंगा. No, you were told you have to get fruit juice. Like Kanupriya's father has a textile business, but she was told you have to get fruit juice. Said okay. So fruit juice is needed for Krishna, I will get fruit juice. But somebody may say मेरा टेक्सटाइल का बिजनेस है, भगवान के लिए मैं कपड़े बनाऊंगा. That's karma yoga. Bhakti yoga is when you do what Krishna needs. Okay, so a sannyasi is at all times doing what Krishna needs, and what they renounce is the sense of me and my work, what I like. I will do what I like. That is renunciation. Otherwise, what do we own that we can renounce? Last session we discussed, we don't own anything. Do we own anything? No. We are just, for 50 years, we're taking care of it. 50, 60 years, then we'll have to leave it. Anyhow, we don't own anything. So what can we renounce? This is what Guru Prasad Maharaj was also telling the other day. What do you have that you will renounce? What do all of us have? We don't have anything. One may say, no, I worked so hard, I got promotions and I started my business and I started 20 रुपए से शुरू किया था, झाल मूड़ी बेचता था, आज देखो मैंने क्या खोल दिया, बिट्टू टिक्की वाला, right? But in all of that, if you look closely, fundamentally, where is your intelligence coming from? Where are all the raw materials coming from? What you call luck, for any businessman to be successful, there is luck. What is this luck? If somebody observes all of this, then you will see that actually we don't do anything. We just have a desire, we follow that desire. All the raw materials are being provided by nature, the intelligence is being provided by Krishna. So what will we renounce? Yesterday I went to Shivam Prabhu's cousin sister's wedding. He had invited me. He was telling me that he fought with one of his relatives. I said, why did you fight? He said that uncle came to me and he said, तुम्हारा मास्टर्स का एग्जाम क्लियर नहीं हुआ और मेहनत करो, क्लियर हो जाएगा. So Shivam Prabhu, being Shivam Prabhu, he said, आप बहुत मेहनत करो, आप अदानी बन जाओगे. So that uncle didn't get the point. So he said, mehnat is only one element of the entire picture. There's so many other elements to it. So we don't own anything. What will we renounce? So what we have to really renounce is the mentality of ownership, of enjoyment. That is what we have to renounce.
So can we say the concept of ownership is then replaced by the concept of trusteeship?
Yes.
Trustees.
Yes. Your trustees were taking care. That's the mindset of enjoyer, of being God. That's what we have to renounce. And that's a sannyasi. Yes, Ritesh.
So in simple terms, we detach from every selfish belief and we become selfless. So do we come near being a sannyasi or we automatically?
You cannot detach yourself from your selfish desires and be selfless without being Krishna conscious. This is what Prabhupada is explaining in the purport. Artificially, how will you be selfless? From tomorrow I am selfless. I will do everything for the world. कल से मैं अपनी सोचूंगा ही नहीं, मैं सिर्फ दुनिया की सोचूंगा, मैं सिर्फ सेवा करूंगा, बस. Can you do it? You won't be able to do it.
But the acts of so-called selflessness, like donation and dunya ki seva, would be the extended.
You have to read the intent behind it. Yes, that is extended sense gratification. That is extended sense gratification. You have to read the intent behind it. Why? It can be many things. Some people do it for punya, some do it for publicity, some do it for, you know, I did it like, I gave out charity.
Just because you feel
I
happy.
gave, yeah, I just gave out charity. I do this. Some as Vidushi is saying, some do it because it makes me happy. It makes me feel like, I gave back something to the world. In this also, who is the center?
Me.
I. As soon as charity stops giving you that feeling, you will stop doing it.
So in the end,
Okay.
once we become selfless,
You cannot, first you have to, yes, first, this is important,
then
yeah.
we become sannyasi.
Yes. When somebody is perfectly Krishna conscious, he is automatically selfless and he is automatically sannyasi.
But it is very difficult.
Yeah, but that's what we are practicing collectively. But it is not difficult. It is not difficult. You have to just stick to the basics. Just associate.
In the association, it's feel it is very
Exactly.
simple.
So you increase your association. Don't stick to just Saturdays. I've been begging. Don't make association and Krishna consciousness a hobby. It's not a part of life. It's life. You want to be a sannyasi, right? If you want to be a sannyasi, then you associate with sannyasis. When you want to be an entrepreneur, you associate with entrepreneurs. Do you do only Saturday Entrepreneurship Association? No. When you are very passionate about something, you are completely absorbed in it, isn't it? So similarly, Krishna consciousness is easy. It's very, very easy, very simple. It just requires sincerity. If you sincerely associate every day, it'll come so naturally to you. For some people, growth will be slow. For some people, growth will be fast. But at least have the desire, the intent, the effort, the struggle to associate every day. How can I associate every day? There are so many ways. Can you attentively for half an hour listen to a Prabhupada lecture? You're associating with Prabhupada. Can you attentively read a Prabhupada book for half an hour, 1 hour? That is association with Prabhupada. So simple. And then from half an hour, more and more and more. There are so many ways. Don't just make it Saturday. That's when we don't get taste and it becomes theory. We get taste only for 4 hours. So it's a very simple process. And I guarantee you, from what the Gita is saying, from the teachings of Bhagavatam and Gita, and from personal experience, that it is very, very simple. You just have to be sincere and you have to increase your commitment, you have to increase your sincerity. There is one more way to be a sannyasi every day, and we will close the session with that. So I'll talk about that towards the end.
My question was that why have they categorized us the sannyasi when anyone can be a sannyasi? So we have appointed
Yeah.
like different roles, the
Yeah.
Kanda that I can do the roles.
Yeah.
So why have we made that categorization when we can just be like let them wear whatever they want and teach them how to be a sannyasi?
That's a very nice question. That if anybody can be a sannyasi, like Krishna is saying, if you do your duties and you're unattached to the results, then you're a sannyasi. Then why do we have this categorization, brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi? To run the world, to run a society, you need a system. These systems are already prevalent. Capitalism is a system. Ask your brother, he loves all of this. Communism is a system to run a society. Socialism is a system to run a society. Monarchy is a system to run a society. Democracy is a system to run a society. Such systems come and go, come and go, come and go. But in the Gita, Krishna tells, we will read about it as we proceed, the perfect system which is eternal, which is not bound by time, which will be the best system to run a society. It's called Varna Ashram system. Okay. In that Varna Ashram system, there are 4 ashrams. which means an individual must be in one of these ashrams. First is brahmacharya, student life, celibacy life, celibate, a life of celibacy and lifelong education. Then there is grahastha, which is married life, right? Then there is vanaprastha, which is retirement life. Then there is sannyas. Sannyas is a life of retirement plus spreading the bigger message, the higher message, right? So a sannyasi in this varnashram system at a gross level renounces everything. Sannyasi leaves home, leaves family, leaves riches, leaves comforts, leaves luxuries, and goes out only to guide the entire society, the entire world, as to how you should live your life with God in the center. So they do it at a gross level, okay, at an external level. But an internal level, anybody can do. But Grihastha cannot be at a sannyasi at an external level, because I have to have a house, I have to take care of my kids. At an external level, the other ashrams cannot be sannyasi. But a sannyasi is externally also sannyasi, internally also sannyasi. Other ashrams can be externally anything, but internally everyone should try to be a sannyasi, like Krishna is saying. Is that okay? So the term sannyasi is denoting the external characteristics more than the internal characteristics. So Krishna is saying, all of you try to build the internal characteristics of the sannyasi in yourself. You will be sannyasi. Okay? It's not like to go back home to Krishna to attain perfection of life, you need to be a sannyasi. That's what Krishna is also trying to tell Arjuna. No, you can be grihastha. You can be grihastha, but you need to be unattached to the result, fruits of your work. It's a big thing to do. For example, my kids, for parents, kids are everything. But when the kids don't become what they thought they will become, the kids will become. And parents are really disappointed, really disheartened, because they're so attached. So a grahastha has to be, in a way, he has to look at their kids as these are Krishna's kids. Krishna in the center. If you will not get Krishna in the center, then you will not be able to be detached from your kids. You क्या रीजन दोगे आप? मेरा बच्चा गुंडा बन गया, अब कैसे डिटैच हो गए इससे? कितना मुश्किल है डिटैचमेंट. But when you start seeing your kid, this is somebody sent by Krishna. It's a soul who has come to my life, sent by Krishna. My job, as he said, is trusteeship, to take good care, to give good nourishment, physically, mentally, spiritually. And then as Krishna wants, he has a direct connection with Krishna, he has a free will. You have Krishna in the center, that detachment will happen. Without Krishna in the center, it's impossible to have detachment. It will be artificial detachment. You will fall down. It's only love for somebody higher that will, and love for the perfect person that will give you detachment. Jesse, we see this in the material world also. Boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband. Initial days, what happens? The love is at its peak. You're just detached from everything else. Result क्या आया, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? प्रमोशन हुआ नहीं हुआ, ऑफिस में क्या सोच रहे, मुझे क्या मैं तो ऑफिस में, आई एम जस्ट थिंकिंग अबाउट माय गर्लफ्रेंड एंड माय न्यू रिलेशनशिप. Isn't it? Nobody is saying yes. Very good. Good. But you get what I'm saying? What you see in the movies? You're so obsessed. So not only girlfriend, boyfriend, when you get a new thing, when there's a new obsession that you have, when there is, let's say, you become a social media celebrity, you're getting followers. At office, you don't care about office work. You're just thinking, वो मैसेज आया, वो लाइक्स आई, इस पे मेरे को 2,500 लाइक्स आ चुकी है, कैसे बढ़ रही है लाइक्स? एवरी 5 minutes you're checking, अभी 100 लाइक्स और आ गई, अभी 100 लाइक्स और आ गई. When you're obsessed with something, you automatically get detached. But the problem is, our obsession with our boyfriend or girlfriend or social media doesn't sustain. It doesn't last because it's not perfect. The object of obsession is not perfect. When the object of obsession is perfect, and perfect can be only Krishna, then automatically detachment will happen. Okay? Okay?
So when you say externally, like a sannyasi, externally and bodily, and all other people in the varnashram are internally, we should strive to be sannyasis. Externally, can women also be
Yes, of course. Externally. Externally, women sannyasi, I mean, technically, no. I mean, there is, see, the Vedic scriptures are very practical. A sannyasi goes around from one place to another, to another, to another, to another, to another. Now, I don't want to approach another tangent, but the women body has certain deficiencies versus male body. Don't take this personally, because you were male in last body, you'll be male in next body. So don't take it, don't let the feminist come out, right? But just look at it very objectively. There is a male's body, there is a female body. You are in neither. You are soul. You are in neither. So have a very objective view. Unfortunately or fortunately, or this is how the world is designed, Krishna is designed, a female body is relatively weaker than a male body at a physical level, at certain levels. So thus, there is no instruction, there is no process of a woman becoming a sannyasi, because that the anatomy of the woman body will not allow to be independent, going in the forest, one place to another, etc., etc. Or you could give any logic. This is how Krishna has defined a perfect society, right? But can a woman be internally sannyasi? Of course. Can a woman be an acharya? Of course, right? But a woman, grahastha ashram is there, sannyas ashram is not there for her. So she's not a sannyasi, she's an acharya. It doesn't exist. Okay? What? Internally, you can be a sannyasi, women can be, of course, a sannyasi, acharya, and that will be very visible from their characteristics. Like I know Devi Shakti Mataji, if I think of her, she's a sannyasi. But will she go around with a danda in saffron? No. Externally, it's not there. Internally, Devi Shakti Mataji, Vrindavan, right? There's so many women acharyas in our movement itself. Yamuna Devi, Rukmini Mataji, so many of them, isn't it? One ashram is brahmacharya, grahas, all of this is for male bodies. A women body, as per this system, Vedic system, must always be under protection. They are always to be protected by male bodies. In childhood, by the father, in adulthood, by the husband, and in old age, by the kids. Okay? Yes, bro. I don't want to digress. If the question is about male, female, then that's another topic. We'll take that. But
Like a woman, I think that a woman can be a sannyasi in the sense if she sees the ansh of Lord Krishna in the child.
yes,
And
yes,
that way, when
yes,
she
yes, of course.
brings him up.
Absolutely. Internally, women can be a sannyasi. There are so many around us. Maybe we need to get one here. That'll be nice. So, yeah. So the last thing that with which we'll end is to be a sannyasi, to be a bhakti yogi, you need to work for Krishna, isn't it? You need to work for Krishna. So there are many opportunities that you have to work for Krishna. Choice is in your hands. So even for weekend wisdom, there are many services, said and unsaid. Some are given to you, some you have to grab. So build this habit of grabbing services for Krishna. For these 4-5 hours itself, in this bubble of Krishna consciousness, you should think of how can I serve Krishna. बाकी तो मैं घर जाके भूल जाऊंगी, पूरा हफ्ता मैंने मस्ती करनी है. In these 4-5 hours, can I serve Krishna? How can I serve Krishna? You should not wait. So when the class ends, you should grab an opportunity. Okay, can I pick up something and keep? Can I fold the sheets? Somebody can say, can I serve prasad? Can I eat prasad? Can I get something for Nitai? Prana Gaur Priya. I am also getting used to it. Can I pack up? What is it that I can do? What is that one service I can take? I can raise my hands. There are so many. I'll give you some hints. Then you think of more. These glasses you're seeing, they stay like this till the end. I'm just giving you an example. It's a service you can take. You can work for Krishna. So simple, so practical. Everywhere around the room there are glasses. Pick it up. Throw it in the bin. Make it your service for Krishna. Right? So try to grab opportunities. In these 5 hours only you will get an opportunity. Take one service, do it dedicatedly. Don't let anybody do it. Say, this is my seva. This is my seva to Krishna. This is my work for Krishna. Some of you have fixed some services, but there are still so many pending. So each one of you should have at least one service when you come for these 5 hours. And then beyond these 5 hours, there are many services. Do you know this group manages 3 YouTube channels? There is TwomMuchWise. There is Rukmini Krishna Maharaj's channel now. There is Guru Prasad Swami Maharaj's channel. Each channel requires a lot of service. Raise your hand. Say, I'll do it. How much time is needed? Half an hour a week? 1 hour a week? You can manage. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read all the services that are available, all the work you can do for Krishna. And I leave it there. And then you think which one you want to pick up and raise your hand before somebody else. You don't need to tell me now, but I leave it to you to message me or the right person and I'll tell you what the right. So if this Gita, I'm doing this just to tell you how practical Gita is, how you can work for Krishna, what are the opportunities you have only in this small bubble. Now it's up to you. If you really want to be a sannyasi, take a small. Think big. You should think like, I will become a sannyasi in this life. Start small. Do one little service for Krishna. Half an hour a week. Can you not give half an hour in the week? Okay? So I'm going to tell you the services. And actually you guys are lucky because I wanted to tell this. I've been delaying. I wanted to tell this when a lot of people, devotees are here. But you don't, there are not. That means you can grab it because they may not even get to know. Okay? So I'll start with the more challenging ones. Okay, now let me start with the easier ones and then I'll move on to the challenging ones. So there's a very simple work you need to do. Guru Prasad Swami Maharaj, if you like listening to him from on Monday, then Sanya manages his channel. You have to just listen to one lecture in the week. She will assign you that lecture. Okay? Just 1 hour, you have to listen to that lecture attentively. Then you have to get back to her with a title for the lecture, some description of 100-200 words for the lecture, and a quote. 1 or 2 quotes, 2 quotes from the lecture. That's it. Already, there are 4-5 devotees already doing it, right? 4-5 Tanvi is doing it, Ram Prabhu is doing it, Kriti is doing it, but we need more. More the merrier. They're listening to 2, we will reduce them to 1, we'll give them some other service. Okay? No, don't raise your hand now. If you want to do this, you have to message Sanya, you'll find a number on the group. Okay, clear? Okay. Second, if you were inspired, if you like listening to Rukmini Krishna Maharaj, This group manages the shorts on his channel, right? So Radhika leads that service. You can help her make shorts. Again, you have to listen for 1 hour and then it'll take 15 minutes. She'll train you on how to make shorts. Just 15 minutes, you'll be able to make shorts. So that's the other service, right? We definitely need 2 devotees for this. So this is a need. So you can take up this service. Here, this is another work you can do. These are all works for Krishna. Because when you do this, then the message of Krishna reaches out to more people. Third, we are going to start another edition of GitaWise. This will be the 3rd edition. All of you know, maybe except Gaurav and Chehak and Anirudh Prabhu, you know what GitaWise is, right? We go online, we invite people from our Instagram channel, YouTube channel, friends, family. We do a 4-day Gita crash course with the objective of then giving them, engaging them for a longer time. From our last 2 courses, we have around 30 people who are connected to us online. Every Saturday, they read the Bhagavad Gita, right? One group is led by Muskan, one is led by Aditya Prabhu. So you can help with GitaWise, upcoming edition in June. Next, there is a Puri Yatra coming. You can help with logistics of that Yatra, coordinating with the transport person or helping with finances or coordinating with the person who's getting prasad. In all of this, you will not be alone. There will be people helping you. Don't worry, there will be no pressure. That's another service you can take. If you raise your hand, you'll definitely get the service. If you don't raise your hand, you may or you may not, because eventually we need help, so we do allocate. These are just works that I could list down. Like this, there are so many. Okay, now
I have a plea, like if I want to contribute into the making of shorts, can I do it from my own?
yeah. You don't need these all of remote services.
Okay,
You don't need work from home. Work for Krishna from home. WFK FH. Sorry. Okay, next. Okay, this one Anshika has already taken. But if Anshika stops coming regularly, somebody can snatch it from her. Okay. So, but others can also serve. If you feel I have no time at all, then this is the service for you. Otherwise, also this is a service which I think everybody should take part in. Okay. So what we are launching is something called a TMW fund. TwomMuchWise fund. Okay. And Anshika is going to manage this. On 1st of every month, she will drop a message to the group with her QR code. You can contribute anything. Why all of you must do it? Because money is what we love the most. So when you give a little bit of what you love the most to Krishna, then naturally Krishna will build detachment in you. Otherwise, money causes us most insecurities. So there is, Anshika is not going to say minimum 2,000 rupees or something, anything. And it stays confidential, right? She'll also roll out a form to take commitments from you. Why commitment? Because अगर commitment नहीं करोगे, then you will give some time, कभी नहीं दोगे. So just so that you have you can give 5 rupees, you can give 10 rupees, you can give 50 rupees. Anshika will not even tell me. Only she has the database. I will also not know. So for those who are going to college, if you can give 100 rupees from your pocket money in a month, don't eat that aloo chaat that you eat. Just give 100 rupees. And sky is the limit, 1 lakh, 2 lakh also. What will we do this with these funds? It will only be used for us only as a group. So you don't need to worry during the Gita marathon, during our yatras, some goodies. It will only be used for the group or to serve, let's say, Guru Prasad Maharaj, Rukmini Krishna Maharaj if we need to. Right? So take this up. Of course, again, no pressure, no force, completely voluntary, but it's an opportunity for you. Contribute some. 50 rupees, 100 rupees. I started with 100 rupees only. When I was a student, I used to give 100 rupees. Whatever you can. Okay? Doesn't mean you stick to 100 rupees. You are earning a salary of 1 lakh rupees and you are saying 100 rupees. बोला था प्रभु जी ने तो बोला था 100 रुपए हो तो गया 100 रुपए कर तो दिया. Again, it just stays with Anshika, nobody else. Okay, now we'll move to 2-3 big ones. If you take these up, I will be very, 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 very grateful to you. Extremely grateful. One, we want to start another batch of offline group. We need a home for that. Like this home. We just need a house. Right? So if you can lend one home for one evening, it will be big, 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 big contribution. Right? अभी नहीं देना आप मैसेज कर देना फिर मैं आपको डिटेल्स बताऊंगा क्या क्या ट्रबल्स होती है कॉन्स्ट्रेंट्स होते हैं देन यू थिंक I'll tell you what all challenges you will have. What does it mean for your family, right? Because once you give your home, then it will stay there for 4-5 years. You can't back because it becomes the center, right? It becomes the central point. So if you can give, this will be a really, really big contribution. One more thing. So there is a, for those who are inspired by Srila Prabhupada, this is a very difficult service because it will take years to complete. It's a very interesting service, which is that together we can compile a book, which doesn't exist right now. There are so many devotees who are completely Prabhupada loyal. Their life is Srila Prabhupada, right? And who love listening to pastimes of Srila Prabhupada. But if you think in ISKCON there are so many books, in our house only there is a library of 100 books. There is no one book of Srila Prabhupada which has his pastimes from different disciples in one place. You know, let's say how Prabhupada was compassionate, some interesting pastimes. How Prabhupada never wasted time. From different books. So this would not mean writing a book per se, but really bringing together different books. So it means you read, you document. You read, you document with a photo. So I started doing this in my last book with a dream that one day this book will be done. Yeah. Zingers is also going to be a chapter. It's actually there. How did you say that? I said that? Okay. There's a chapter. It will be Zingers, one-liners from Prabhupada. So this is going to be a tough service. Why tough? Because it will take a few years. If I read, it will take more years. If you read with me, then together it will take lesser years. And as a group, we can do this. Right? So this is another service. Right? So I've told you many services now. Now look at this. What was Karma Yoga? In Karma Yoga, you did what you liked. In Bhakti Yoga, you do what Krishna wants. Now there are so many things that Krishna wants. So you can actually engage what you like to do what Krishna wants. And that's how this is such a beautiful process. There will be certain services which you don't like, which you will be asked to do. But there are always services which you enjoy, which is natural to your conditioning, which you can do for Krishna. Okay? So there's one last service. It'll start maybe in 1 month, which is we will do an offline Gita-wise also. So I need someone to lead it, to be the center of it, to manage marketing for it, to manage setting up admin for it. Of course, there'll be a team, but somebody has to lead it, right? So if you like management, like Aditya Prabhu, he loves management. So if you like him, you like management a lot, then this is a service for you. If the management gives you a headache like me, don't do it, give it to others. Okay, with that we'll end. Hare Krishna. Okay, wait, you have one question? Huh? Oh yeah, thank you. So please, all of you spent a lot of money for Nitai Pran Gaur Priya's Abhishek. Please tell Anshika Please, you don't, if you want to give money, you add it to TwomMuchWise fund, no problem. But please give it to her for the Abhishek. That's my service. So it has to come back. Okay. Okay. But if you're very, very keen, it's okay. You can also spend, but you can share the details with her. She'll reimburse the Lakshmi back to you.
You said this one thing that this is my service, you don't let anyone else do it. So, I mean, how do we not let anyone else
No, you just take it up. I mean, don't fight with them. बाल पकड़ के लड़ रही है. बोला था तेरे को मेरी. Not like that. If you take it and you keep doing it 3, 4, 5 times, then everybody will know it's your service. And then you can say, this is my service. You take something else politely with a smile. You can say, don't take away this service.
But that's what I unnecessary.
No, you can just say politely, nicely. There are nice ways. It's nothing. You find, actually, what's the best thing? You can suggest another, so why don't you do this? And that person will also feel nice, no? This is Vaishnav etiquettes. Right? It's my service. Wait, let me help you figure out another service for you. Or you can figure out another service and you can give that service also. It's okay. But it's always best to continue doing what you're doing till your guru asks you to do something else. This time, this session, we didn't discuss any Prabhupada pastime. Would you want to hear one?
Yes.
Yes.
You sure? Doesn't look like a very encouraging yes. Looks like a boring. Okay, anyhow, सुनाना तो है ही. खोल तो रहे हो कुछ बता ही दो. So you want to hear a Prabhupada pastime?
Yes.
Okay. So related to today's session, a sannyasi is supposed to give up work. But there is a term in Sanskrit called avyarth kalatvam. Have you heard this term? Avyarth kalatvam. Let's break it down. Vyarth. What is vyarth in Hindi? Waste. ये व्यर्थ है. Heard it? व्यर्थ है. अव्यर्थ मतलब not waste. Kal means time. Avyarth kalatvam means that a pure devotee wastes no time. Every second is precious in the service of Krishna. Okay? And Prabhupada was like that. Avyarth kalatvam. One tiny millisecond also he wouldn't waste. So I'm going to read as it is. This is from the book that we will write in the future. And also from the book called Chasing Rhinos with the Swami. Volume 2, page 176. It's really small, so I'll try to read. They are in somewhere, I think they're in London right now, if I'm not wrong. I hear Prabhupada calling me out. Sham Sundar, that's the name of the author. I go to Prabhupada's door, I open it slowly, and Prabhupada, small, grey face, falls forward into my arms. Something has happened. Prabhupada is falling. Stunned, I pick him up with both arms like a doll. He doesn't weigh anything, like feathers, and I lay him on his back on his bed. Something has happened to him. He's falling. He's been put to bed. His eyes are closed and he's shivering. I rush to the gas fireplace heater and I turn the heat as high as it will go. He's shivering. Then I cover him with every blanket and shawl that I find. Prabhupada whispers, no hospital. He's shivering. He's sick. At night, he's calling Sham Sundar. He's fainting and he's saying, no hospital. Just as I think to call the ambulance, Prabhupada said, no hospital. Confused, bewildered by this dreamlike event, I sit by his bed. What will I do? Kuch samajh to aa nahi raha, kya karu? Prabhupada, what do I do? I chant Hare Krishna intensely, but softly to not disturb him. An hour passes. Prabhupada is shivering. The shivering subsides after an hour. The mound of blankets on Prabhupada's bed rises and falls to a slower, more regular rhythm. It's means now he's breathing fine. Then he moves the blankets from his face. He was covered, fully covered, and says, just make a paste, black pepper, little water, and runs one hand over his forehead and temples. Okay? He's saying, paste lagao mujhe. Okay? Ayurvedic, some paste, black pepper and little water. I softly tread upstairs and wake the girls, the Matajis, who rush to the kitchen while I return to Prabhupada's side. A few minutes later, Malati is his wife, Shyam Sundar Prabhu's wife. Malati hands me the paste through Prabhupada's door. I whisper to her, tell them not to use kartals and mridang at morning aarti. So it's morning is approaching. Prabhupada, of course, wouldn't sleep at night. He would be translating books, and he's translating. He's fallen sick, and Shyam Sundar Prabhu is saying, tell them not to use kartal and mridang. The temple is downstairs. I apply the black paste gently. It's cold to touch and must feel good on his fevered brow. He's warm and the black pepper paste is cold. The long night's vigil begins. When daylight touches his blue curtains at 5:30 a.m., I hear a snuffle and Prabhupada slowly rises, sits up in his bed, swings his legs to the floor. Now he's just sitting like this, and he says, I did not hear kartals. There is no morning aarti. The sparkle has returned to his eyes, and I'm so relieved I laugh. Then looking at his watch, he says, it is time for morning walk. Are you coming? He was sick. Now he's saying his morning walk were also conversations, lectures recorded. He's just starting to feel a little better, and he's saying, it's time for morning walk. Let's go. Imagine you're shivering, you have mounds of blankets over you, you are warm, and you got all and you're like, let's go. All as if nothing had happened. I'm overwhelmed with gratitude and more convinced than ever by this mystic display of Prabhupada's inconceivable transcendental energy. But he just wouldn't slow down. He had me run. Okay, that's it. So how he will not waste even one moment. There's another one. I won't read this one. So it'll take more time. But Prabhupada was, there are actually 2, 3. Once Prabhupada was going from, I don't know which place in India to Russia. Okay, and he had a 2-hour layover in Delhi from Mumbai to Russia. For 5 days he was going to Russia, layover in Delhi. In Delhi he had 2 hours. He sent a letter. In Delhi, not letter, telegram reaches quickly. In Delhi, 2 hours layover, bring the king of Kashmir to the airport. Prabhupada was like that. King of Kashmir used to live in Delhi, usko leke airport aao, I'll preach to him. For 2 hours. Prabhupada was like, vyarth kalat. This is a sannyasi. Right? Then another one I read, for the first time Shyam Sundar Prabhu is traveling with Prabhupada in a train, and there is a first class cabin. Prabhupada is in that with Shyam Sundar Prabhu. Shyam Sundar Prabhu is saying, this is the first time I'm completely alone for hours with Prabhupada. Okay? And I'm just nervous and I'm observing, and raat ho jati hai, 10 baj jate hai, 11 baj jate hai. Then Prabhupada says, you go to the upper berth and you switch off the lights and you sleep. And Shyam Sundar Prabhu is thinking, okay, it's time to sleep. Prabhupada will also sleep. In the train, he won't translate his books, because at night Prabhupada used to translate his books. Then Prabhupada tells Shyam Sundar Prabhu, no, wait, come here. Take out that trunk, do this. He makes an arrangement, gets a full table arranged for him. Then he takes out his dictaphone. Then he switches off the light, tells Shyam Sundar Prabhu to sleep, and he starts dictating in the train at night. He doesn't sleep. This is a sannyasi, avyarth kalat. So you're all living the legacy of such a man, pure devotee of Krishna, right? So, and we can be like him. We just need to follow what he's saying. Just follow. We can all be sannyasis. Okay? Srila Prabhupada ki. All right, time for prasad and checks. Embarrassing birthday cake. I hope it's here. Okay.